The old chair made a loud noise when Sam moved. The light on the stage felt very hot. His hands were wet, and his heart beat very fast. He wasn't going to climb a mountain or face a lion. Sam's biggest fear was much more common. He was terrified of speaking in public. It wasn't just being a little nervous. It was a big fear that affected everything he did. Job interviews. He would forget what to say. Giving talks at work. He would stay home. Even talking to a few people made him worried. His fear started when he was a child. In 5th grade, he had to give a presentation about penguins. He practiced a lot, but when he stood in front of his class, he forgot everything. He said a few words and then ran out of the room. His classmates laughed, and he remembered that for many years. That day, fear grew inside him like a tall wall. He stopped doing anything that involved speaking in front of people. He chose jobs where he didn't have to talk much, and he missed chances to do more. His world became small because of his fear. He knew his fear wasn't logical. He knew most people wouldn't judge him harshly. But his fear felt real. It was a knot in his stomach, a tight feeling in his chest, and a voice in his head that said, "You're gonna mess up. They're gonna laugh. You're gonna fail." Tonight, though, was different. He was at Facing Fears, a group meeting he'd been attending for a few weeks. His best friend, Maria, had encouraged him to go. The group had different people, each with a fear. One woman was scared of spiders, one man didn't like crowds, and one teenager was afraid of the dark. Sam felt relief that he wasn't alone. The meetings had helped a little. He learned about fear and ways to control it, like breathing deeply. But talking about his fear wasn't the same as facing it, and tonight was his turn. The group leader, a kind woman named Sarah, had asked everyone to tell their fear story and then try a small step to face it. Sam had listened to the others, their voices shaking. He was moved by their bravery, but he still felt he couldn't do it. Now it was his turn. He stood up, his legs shaking, his hands wet. He looked at the group, who were supportive. He tried to speak, but no words came. His mind was empty. The silence was heavy. His old panic started. He wanted to run away. Then he remembered something Sarah had said. Fear is a liar. It tells you you can't when you can. It tells you it's safer to stay small when you're meant for more. He took a deep breath. He closed his eyes and remembered himself as a child, excited to share what he knew. He opened his eyes, and he spoke. His voice was quiet at first, but as he continued, it became stronger. He told them about the penguin presentation, the laughter, and the wall he'd built. He told them about the jobs he'd missed and the life he'd been living in fear. He didn't try to be fancy. He just spoke honestly, and as he spoke, he felt better. The knot in his stomach loosened, the tightness in his chest eased, and the voice in his head softened. He finished his story, his voice steady. The group clapped, their faces filled with respect. He had done it. He had faced his biggest fear. Sarah smiled. "Thank you, Sam," she said. "That was very brave. Now, for your small step." She pointed to a table with a microphone and a speaker. "We have a few minutes left," Sarah said. "Would you be willing to say something into the microphone? Just a few words." Sam froze. The microphone. It was like facing his whole class again, but louder. His old fear came back. He looked at the microphone, then at the group, then at Sarah. He saw their encouragement. He remembered his journey to the group, the support he felt, and how he was able to speak his truth. He took a deep breath, walked to the table, and picked up the microphone. He held it in his hand. He looked at the group, his heart pounding. He opened his mouth. "Hello," he said. His voice echoed a little. He paused, then took another breath. "My name is Sam," he said, and I'm not as afraid as I used to be." The group clapped loudly, their cheers genuine. Sam stood there, holding the microphone, a small smile on his face. He had faced his fear, not with a big change, but with a small act of courage. He knew that his fear wouldn't go away quickly. He knew he would still feel scared sometimes, but he also knew that he was strong enough to face it, to overcome it, and to live his life more fully. And in that moment, Sam learned something important. Fear is normal, but it doesn't have to control us. We all have the power to face our fears and to pursue our dreams, even when they seem hard. The important thing is to take the first step, no matter how small, and to keep moving forward.